the generators will power things through switches that require power, lights and other items, and then you run wires that connect them all, and again, it just works.
Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies. Almost heaven. West Virginia Blue Ridge Mountains. Shenandoah River. Life is old there. Older than the trees, younger than the mountains. Blowing like a breeze. Welcome to a video that is also a review of the hit video game sensation Fallout 76. As most of you probably know, this game isn't the most well-received Bethesda title, much like my channel. But is this game the piece of garbage critics are making it out to be? In this video we will dive into the mystery of Fallout 76. But before the actual content, I'm going to have to tell you to like and subscribe so I can move out of my mum's basement. Let's begin with intention. This video is divided into 4 major sections: gameplay, design, story, and of course controversy. I wouldn't normally include controversy when reviewing something, but this game just so happens to be controversial, so I suppose I will. Also didn't bother to make this review spoiler free either, because I know the majority of you want to gut this game and feed it to future game developers because you all think it's one big mistake. Game is no Red Dead, but it's a far cry from a mistake. Let's start off with the weapons. They feel the same as Fallout 4, which is a massive improvement from previous titles. It does annoy me that some higher level weapons aren't as good as lower level weapons, such as the combat shotgun compared to the double-barreled, but Bethesda could fix this pretty easily. The junk system in Fallout 76 is amazing. Junk actually has a proper use in Fallout 4 and 76, and there is heaps of ways to obtain it, like mining, trading, doing quests, or just picking it up. Fallout 76 wants you to pick up everything you find, which is the perfect transition into inventory. Again, the inventory functions the same as Fallout 4, but in this one it always feels like I'm an inch off being over-encumbered. I don't understand what's taking up all the space, but I usually only have about 20 carry weight to spare for junk, weapons and armor to pick up. Fallout 76's player home, the camp, construction and assembly mobile platform, is a great idea. It takes Fallout 4's settlements and lets you place them anywhere. Camps are a lot of fun to fully deck out and customize, and you can save blueprints of what you've built so you don't have to reconstruct your home every time you move location. Camps are where you place all your crafting benches and your unique items you've found while playing the game. Where exactly does all this stuff go, you may be wondering? Into your stash box. That's where you can access this box from the train stations scattered across the map and the red rocket truck stops. The stash has one huge issue: the weight limit. Stashes can only hold 400 carry weight, which means you have to scrap all your weapons and armor so you can put away junk items. Bethesda have said they are planning to increase the stash size, so hopefully this game will have less annoying micromanagement. With camps comes the crafting system, which is almost the same as Fallout 4's. The one huge difference is that you'll need to find plans, recipes and scrap your weapons and armor to unlock new things to craft. I think this feature is a great addition. In Fallout 4 pretty much everything was available, apart from a few things that required perks to unlock. In Fallout 76, you have to actively work if you want something, much like the other hit video game sensation Real Life. Every time you level up in Fallout games, you can pick a new perk, such as Cannibal or Scrounger. Fallout 76 had a massive overhaul to this. Now when you level up you can pick a special point, like Intelligence, and a perk, like Strong Back. Leveling up requires just as much grind as previous Fallout entries, and is just exciting, especially when the theme comes on. Every 2 levels you receive a perk card pack, which contains multiple perks and a very funny joke, as well as a stick of bubblegum which grants in-game buffs. Perks can be swapped out on the fly, so if you see a terminal to hack, you might swap out Scrapper for Hacker, or if Preston Garvey found his way into this game, you can swap everything for the Sprinter perk to get the hell out of there. Multiplayer is one of the most controversial changes in this game, despite being the most requested Fallout feature since 2003. This game allows you to play with your friends, or fight them. Critics are saying the PvP is pointless, but I know for a fact if they didn't put in PvP you all would have had a sook. I don't have any friends, so I haven't really experienced multiplayer, but I'm just going to say it's fun because you're not alone like me, sitting on the couch in mum's basement. People wanted a cooperative multiplayer experience, not an MMO where you can find players without having to invite them or them inviting you. Personally I think it is co-op because I'm level 30 and haven't seen a soul, so I don't see how that changes when you're playing with other people. Workshops are a returning feature from Fallout 4, and they are a lot of fun. You go to them and spend caps to claim them, and then repair everything there. Some workshops, like Mount Blair or the Ammunition Factory, can acquire resources for you, and have automated turrets so when you get attacked, they shoot the enemies, creating an extremely underrated and overpowered experience and caps farm. The only downside to the workshops is once you leave the game, they aren't yours anymore and you can't fast travel to them, meaning you have to spend caps and more resources to get them up and running again. You may be wondering what happens if another player has claimed a workshop that you want. Well, you fight them for it of course, creating a competitive edge to the workshop. Whilst I'm killing enemies in the background, let's talk about them. Fallout 76 got all of Fallout 4's enemies, even the DLC ones, and implemented them whilst improving them. There are so many different subcategories of enemies as well, such as Scorched Warriors, Scorched Zealots, Scorched Wanderers, and there are probably more I haven't found. Honestly, Darwin would go mad out here. One problem with the enemies is they are either too easy to kill, and take 1 bullet, or they are a hacking tank and take 300 rounds and 6 people to take down. But now we're talking about hard enemies, let's talk about endgame content. Many critics are saying after completing all the quests, there isn't anything to do. In response, I'm just going to say it's been like that for every single Bethesda game. No, not just Bethesda games. Every single video game ever. I've pretty much covered the gameplay perspective of this game, so let's talk story. No NPCs in this game is just a common misconception, much like Jesus. I'm taking to one right now in the background. She may not be human, but at least she's an NPC. I really enjoy the new storytelling as well. Instead of listening to annoying people rattle on for minutes, you listen to holotapes, read terminals and look at the environment to find out what happened at your location. This method of environmental storytelling has been in every Fallout game and makes you feel like a detective, slowly discovering the tragedies that happened in this retro-futuristic world. There are many YouTube channels, such as Oxhorn, who cover this stuff. There is some really interesting stuff going in this game and all the other. I also really enjoy that Fallout 76's quests aren't just kill quests like in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 has the repeated formula of talk to NPC, head to a dungeon, kill everything there, Do required task in said dungeon. Return to NPC. Boom. Quest finished. Fallout 76 ditches this system and introduces new, varied objectives that weren't in any other Fallout game. Again, this is due to the exclusivity of environmental storytelling. The story itself isn't as predictable as Fallout 4's, and I think the main quest line is a lot longer and the individual quests take more time, effort and planning. Fallout 4's main quest line could also be completed at any level, but sometimes the main quest in this game are so difficult you're forced to give up and come back in 6 levels. I'm looking at you, belly of the beast. Let's move on to design, and talk about a classic Bethesda trait, the graphics. Many people say the graphics look like an Xbox 360 game at best, and at worst a PS2 game. This is of course due to Bethesda's 15-year-old creation engine, which really isn't designed to run an open-world multiplayer RPG. I think Bethesda have the time and money to make new engine, which would improve their graphics and reduce the general bugginess of this game. The only bad-looking things are really just a few textures here and there. The overall lighting and all the textures had been improved greatly, and sometimes I just stop to look at the game in all its beauty. Unlike my mum's basement, graphics comes hand in hand with art style. Unlike many AAA games, the Fallout series hasn't had too much of a cosmetic overhaul, apart from a few minuscule changes to things like the Vault-Tec jumpsuit and Nuka-Cola machine. Every Fallout game has a different feel, and sometimes color, to it, but they all retain the Fallout atmosphere, no matter the differences. Next part of design is the controls. I play on Xbox, as you might have noticed, but I feel like having certain buttons tied to each other will make the PC gamers triggered that this game was built for console. Before buying this game, PC players, watch the trailers and promotional videos. They all begin and end with Xbox marketing, meaning this is indeed a game built for consoles, even if it runs better on PC. A nice addition is the favorites wheel. Since the Pip-Boy no longer pauses time, the weapon wheel is really useful to quickly cam up and change weapons on the fly. Somehow the writer to the ambient Fallout soundtrack, In and Zer, improved the music even more this time around. All the Fallout soundtracks fit the individual game's atmosphere, but I can't just talk about the ambient music. I have to discuss radio. As usual, the Fallout radio delivers everything and some. Bethesda got licensing for even more classic 60s music, including Country Roads and that Beach Boys songs that creeps me out. If you're like me and hate the combat soundtrack, which isn't bad, I've just heard it for like 3 days of my life. The radio is a great alternative option that really helps make the game more immersive. I'm finally up to the fourth and final part of this video, controversy. The most controversial part I've already covered, which is the multiplayer. The second source of controversy is the bugs. Yes, this game is pretty buggy for a $100, but since Bethesda are continually patching it due to online play, I feel like all these bugs should be fixed within 3 or 4 months. The bugs really aren't too bad. In fact, I only saw a few during recording, which was a T-posing ghoul, and remember the Mr. Handy I killed earlier? Well, the quest I received from that epic kill disappeared after a crash, but I simply went back to that spot and got the victory royale against the same robot. Even though this game has bugs, very few are game breaking and fixes are definitely on the way. In Fallout 76, everyone is dead. People are racing on about how it destroys the story and gives off a late to the party vibe. Like I've already said, the story feels unpredictable, and yes, the effect of some stories are diminished when everything's dead, but it does not give off a late to the party vibe. Much like environmental storytelling, every Fallout game has had whole areas of just dead people, and critics are seeming to forget that. People are also complaining about reused textures, weapons, enemies and animations from Fallout 4. Well, critics, remember the masterpiece of a game Fallout New Vegas? That reused more things from Fallout 3 than Fallout 76 has. Fallout 4 and you all seem to praise that game, much like idiots praise Jesus. Another example of reused assets is Halo 1, 2 and 3. Bethesda shouldn't be accused of something if it isn't a crime. I'd also like to add that if something isn't broken, don't try and fix it. Making new assets for everything takes time and money, and they already have said assets, most of which work fine. So why make new ones? That just about wraps up everything. Overall, this game is a lot of fun, especially with friends, but it definitely has an acquired taste. There is a lot of content here, most of which is alright, but some of which is glitchy. This game is certainly susceptible to change and constructive criticism, but all the hate isn't helping Bethesda give is the best game experience. If you played previous Fallout games, definitely pick up this one, but maybe wait a few weeks until everything has settled down. Please, leave a like and subscribe so I can leave out of this scary basement. I don't think I'm alone in here, hell. I forgot to talk about FOV in controversy. PC players are complaining that it cannot be altered and it makes them sick, and my response is have a suck, it barely makes a difference, as shown in the clip playing in the background. If this honestly makes you feel sick, you probably shouldn't be playing video games. That is all, have a nice day.